morning, everybody. CrazyJuan coming back at you on the Xbox One with a little more NLG plays of the Kerbal Space Program. Gonna do what is probably gonna be our last video in the series, and the goal today is ambitious. We're gonna do a moonshot. We're gonna do the entire launch, approach, landing on the moon, a little exploration on the moon, tiny bit, coming back and touching back down on good old Kerbin, safe and sound, if everything goes according to plan. Crazy overtime at work and everything has meant I haven't been able to do one of these videos in a while, and happy to be at it again. Also means I had some time to gather some science and build up some pieces so we could do this mission today. So we're going to head into the vehicle assembly building. And we'll load up our rocket that I've built for this purpose. And there she is, with complete with the lander and capsule on top. Ain't she a beaut? Had to unlock the larger sections, the larger fuel tanks, which were needed to get that much mass into orbit and still have enough fuel to do the whole mission. But it looks like we're all set, so we'll take her to the pad. Alright, we're going to activate the stability control, set our throttle, and launch. Let's bump the throttle up a little bit. We're going to start our rotation at 90 degrees, which we want to be for a nice, easy, flat trajectory to the moon. We hit 100 meters per second. We're going to start our turn. Let's start nice and early on that. For now, we can throttle back because we don't really need to be burning a bunch of our main fuel tank at this altitude. Going above 200 meters per second when you're in the lower altitude below 9,000 meters or so is just a big waste of fuel. So we'll let the boosters do their thing right now. Well, that all went badly. I blew up the bottom part of my rocket, so I have no more main booster. So we'll just revert. Stability on. Throttle up. And we're off. Okay, better. Now we just have to correct. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Ah, no. That's all gone bad, too. I had tried to cut the main engines a little bit so as not to detonate any of the boosters, but it's also part of my yaw control, so, and pitch control, so that went bad. One more try. And we're off. To conserve some fuel. And let the boosters do their thing. Alright, good. We got a nice clean separation. And we can start trying to get some more lateral speed. Alright, so to the map we go. And we can zoom in and check out our highest point of orbit right now, which we want to be a little over. Want that to get to a little over 100K. Check our angle right quick. Fuel's holding up okay. Up to 86, 87K. Alright. Just about time to shut her down. Alright, so then we're going to set a new maneuver so we can raise the lowest point of our orbit. No, stop, don't warp there. Ah, wrong button. Okay, so here we go. New maneuver. Add maneuver, put some pro-grade burn on that so we can get ourselves a nice periapsis. And that's going to be 1 minute out. It's at 53 grand right now. We need that to be higher. No, don't like it. Let's scrap this maneuver. We'll put it here. Add maneuver and go, 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 go. That's better. That'll do. So now we need to get aligned. So we're going to do a little bit of a burn so that we can use the engine to help align the ship. to stop. A little bit more. Stop. Okay. So we're aligned for the burn, and that's the point of it, so we'll hit it. Now hopefully, if things go well, we'll pick up enough speed here and not drop it into the atmosphere and burn up, because that would be bad. Pick up the time warp a little bit on this here burn. Gotta slow the time warp back down a little bit so I can make an adjustment. Don't really want to do that at 4 times speed. It's hard to control. So our altitude at 99, not doing too bad. 40 more seconds to burn. Might even have enough fuel for it, but maybe not. It's okay if I have to use a little bit of the next section's fuel. Looks that way. So we'll separate. Thrust. And shut her down. Okay, so what's our orbit look like? We're at... we're bigger than we want, but that's okay. We can get rid of this mission, or maneuver, and set up our next one, which is going to raise the largest part. We're going to speed up, burn some more, and add to the largest part of our orbit so that we can stretch it out and meet up with the moon. The 3-hour flight, we want to shorten that a little bit, or lengthen that flight out. We don't really want a 3-hour meet up at the moon if we can avoid it, because that's using a lot of fuel to do that. So if we can set that to like a 4 or 5, that would be preferred to me. I think that's looking a little better. What does that mean for our burn? That is a 1 minute 23 second burn, which is perfectly acceptable to me. So we're going to get the ship oriented. Alright, that's close enough for government work, and what we'll do is head back out to the map. And we can warp to the next maneuver. Gonna start our burn just a tiny bit early. I'm not entirely sure why we do that. I think it's because the burn doesn't go to full acceleration, like you're not instantly at that full speed. So you do it a touch early when doing a big jump like this out to the moon. I don't know if that means bigger early moves if you're heading out to further bodies, but it's what the tutorial said to do. So we're picking up speed, and we're going to stretch, move further away from Kerbin until our orbit matches that. That'll put us in the moon's gravity. Should even leave us some fuel to decelerate and help with the landing, so we don't have to use all of the lander's fuel to do that. Tried doing this for several days before doing stuff to unlock more science in the science sandbox mode here, and do it just on first gen rocket parts, and it's just tough to do because you just can't get enough fuel up into orbit to do the whole trip. So yeah, looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and kill that maneuver, and we should be able to warp time, because I have to work today. So there goes Kerbin, and here comes the moon. Okay, so on our current path here, and a little bit of a glitch here. I'm not sure why we're not seeing the marker for the ship. I don't know if I turned that off somehow or something, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But what we want to do is we want to go ahead and warp up here to where we encounter the moon's gravity. When we hit it, we'll get a brand new trajectory. Okay, so there it is. Now we're in the moon's gravity. If everything just did as it was, its gravity would now pull us that way, and we'd escape its gravity at this point. But we don't want to do that. What we want to do is decelerate so its gravity pulls us to the moon. That's a little bit close because I might not get it done by then. So we're going to kill that, kill that, kill that. There we go. And add maneuver. We could do a retrograde burn, and our orbit of the moon will change. And we're going to get us a nice touchdown on a lit portion of the moon, because trying to do it in the dark is really difficult. I don't know why that went full flip-flop on me. We're going to redo that. It'll carry it away. That ought to do. And it's a nice 30-second burn. So we'll do that. And work on getting the ship aligned. We're using the reaction wheels now. It's spinning wheels that make torque so that the ship can turn. It uses battery power. We got plenty of batteries on board. Made all kinds of mistakes learning how to do this. I always like to try and do it first without necessarily you know, raking in the science or whatever, and then doing it for the video once I know that I can, so y'all don't have to watch too many failures. But yeah, classic failure. I was to the point where I was ready to head back, and all I had to do was separate the lander from the capsule and ride the way to Kerbin. But as soon as I separated, I lost control of the capsule, and I couldn't figure out what was going on at first. I thought I was out of battery, or nope, I had left my pilot in the lander module and separated it, so that went bad. We'll warp a little bit to get us to the mark here for the node. You can just see the moon moving just past the object of the ship. Alrighty, so we'll slow the warp. And we're burning. I think that ought to do. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little wider and more sweeping, but whatever. I'm okay with that. Alright, so we'll let this... Hello? I don't need this maneuver anymore. Can I select it? Okay, well, at any rate, we are on our way to the moon. And so we're going to point the ship in a retrograde, which is this marker here. Good, good. And then we could probably actually retrograde just a little more, so it's not quite so wide and sweeping. Okay, good enough. Got one of my favorite bugs going on right now. I can't select that. I'm not entirely sure why. Can I select a place on the line to warp? Nope. So we wouldn't be able to warp, which would mean we'd spend the next hour creeping towards the moon, because we came to pretty much a stop, so the gravity would grab us. So we're going to go ahead and quick save. And just won't let me grab it. But I believe if we go to the Space Center, and go back to our flight, that might no. Where Where's my ship? There it is. Let's say, what the balls. Okay, now we can go ahead and fly this mission, and hopefully it'll let me interact with the map. Nope. Yay, I can kill the maneuver again. So if we warp, say, to here, for example. Nope, nope, stop. Because that would warp us through the moon, which would be bad. Don't really want to do that too much. Let's warp to here instead. There's Kerbin and the sun. And the moon is there. And we're heading right for it. Not doing a ton of speed though, I might have to warp a few times. We'll pick up speed as we get closer. Want to be a little careful about warping. Don't want to warp too far and be so close to the surface we can't slow down in time. Still haven't picked up as much speed as I thought we would. And we're at 1,000K, a million meters out, so we can definitely do some warping. Might try something a little dangerous here. I might have to revert to save if this doesn't work out, but if I tell it to warp here, it should give us a big boost. If I can, that is. Hello? No. Didn't mean to change the focus. Alright. So here we are, much closer. Going much faster. Pick up time just a little bit. Start trying to slow down. Now I probably do this like a wuss. There's probably some more advanced players that know exactly how much they need to slow, but I kind of creep up on it. I know that I need to be doing less than 10 meters per second to not crush the landing struts, which are basically toothpicks. I'll be careful too with making sure we're on the good retrograde angle, because if you get off of that, you start getting a lot of lateral movement, which can be troublesome. Let's warp a little bit. I guess my thought is if I use as much of the main fuel tank, a little too much, got a little vertical, almost stalled, like just almost kind of hovered. So we're back to falling again. But basically, I guess it's time to separate. Now if I can, it'd be nice if I could do this with conserving a little bit of fuel, because this is fuel to get home on. Also, that number, the altimeter, is a little bit misleading, because it would be kind of like sea level, so you could actually like hit the ground at 2,000 or 3,000. It's not necessarily zero. There goes my fuel tank hitting the ground. Just want to keep that speed a manageable number. We'll see our shadow too, which will be a good indication as we get close. Nope, 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 I don't want vertical speed. Which is a bit of a waste of fuel there, unfortunately. Morning, dear. Morning. Nope, bring it back. Bring it back. Okay, that'll do. So here we are. We've touched down on the moon. The next thing to do is transfer our pilot. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, I should check on the chutes because I don't think I remember to do that before. Yep, gotta adjust the chutes real quick so I don't forget. Because we're definitely gonna want those to pop when the time comes. And not before. So here we are, and there is the capsule. So I'm gonna transfer the crew to the lander module, and then actually it's kind of cool, you can, there's the view from the module. I don't know if you can actually look up enough to see the helmet's in the way, and so is my head. It's a little weird. Picture of Kerbin, got the nav ball there. Those are actually real lights that the SAS is on. Alright. So we'll go on EVA, extravehicular activity. And there's our small step for man. Okay, so here we are on the moon, and there's Kerbin, and really what we do here, and I didn't bring other science experiments like a temperature reader or a temperature gauge or goo canister or anything. I'll do that on another run. I just wanted to have just the mass I needed to get here, basically, to work with. But what we're going to do is select good old Bob here. I think it's Bob, or was it Jebediah? Jebediah. And we're going to take a surface sample. It's going to get us a nice chunk of science. And we're going to do an EVA report about being on the moon. And why not plant a flag? Yay, we were here. I never put anything on this on broadcast, so we'll just not do that. But there we are. We got our Kerbal Space Program flag up, and we can run around a little bit on the moon. Kind of the opposite of No Man's Sky. There's not a ton to do when you get here. It's really about the challenge of working the physics to get here and such. But of course, if I had brought more science experiments, that'd be one thing. But you can jump on the moon. Gravity is less, so that's fun. We can engage the oops, come on dude, get up. You can engage the thrust pack. So that's good times for everybody. Alright, so it's fun visiting the moon, but since I got a work day, we can't really stick around and do too much more here. This is kind of a tricky part with the legs the way they are. I don't have a ladder, so we will go ahead and try to. Yeah, this is gonna be difficult. All right, dude. Bonked my head. A little too close. Grab. Grab, grab, grab. Cool. And now climb in. Yay. And then we're going to do this now. So we can do a crude report from the can. Get that science. And then we're going to transfer the crew to the capsule, so I don't forget to do that, tragically. Did that count? No. How about up here? I don't want to cancel, but I don't want this thing in my way. Can I move it? Yes. Alrighty. So now the next thing to do is to do a burn and get off the surface and escape the moon's gravity. So everybody's buckled in. Basically, we want to find Kerbin and get pointed at it. At least that's my approach. There's probably a better way to do it, like get in orbit around the moon and slingshot and all that, but I just like to get away from the moon if I can, because its gravity has messed me up a few times trying to get back home. Okay, so we have an escape velocity now. Bye moon, bye flag. So at this point, we can pretty much warp away from the moon. If I can select, there we go, warp. Got to change the focus back to the ship. Alright, so in just a moment we're going to have this orange line be our trajectory. I did it again. Okay. Let's get a little more warp action going on. Oh, that's right. The warp doesn't really work well if you're in a warp. I was warping to speed 6 or speed 4, so it wouldn't really activate when I told it to. A little bit more. Okay, so there we go. Now we have a orbit around Kerbin established again. And what we want to do is we're going to burn some fuel. And take that lowest point of orbit and bring it down. I'll mark that with the B button so we can see it as we adjust, since we're so far out. And we want to get that down to a nice, like, 100K. That made the lowest point disappear, which means it's not really what we want too much, so we'll try to take some of that back, I think. That's close enough. How are we doing on fuel? I don't know because the stage is glitched. That's okay. So we'll set up our angle. It's a 13-second burn. We should have plenty for that. And we'll tell it to warp us to the next maneuver. Wow, that doesn't work because we're in a 4 times time warp. I always do that. Warp to next maneuver. Alright, so that gets us let's check that. Looks pretty decent. Let's check that out though. Let's kill this maneuver, which will leave us this marker without the orange one on it, and 200 will be fine. That's okay. So let's warp now. Now what I could do, and this is what I did before, was I just set the low point of the orbit really low, like 50 grand, which dipped into the atmosphere and slowed the capsule down. And you would do a couple passes through the atmosphere like that to slow it down, but it took forever because you'd do a pass, swing way out away from the planet, and then come back in and do a pass. And every time you scrub more speed, that distance away from the planet would be decreased, but not as much as I had hoped. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to close down to around this area, if I can select it. And then we're going to do another burn to reduce our highest point of orbit, something smaller and more manageable, which should actually help with speed on re-entry too. So we're going to do a retrograde burn here and bring that orbit down. Let's mark that. That's the high point now. What's the low point? No, don't want to kill it. The low point's at 130. And that's cool. We can bring that down now to like 60. 55. And this time the air braking won't take us so far out on the loop once we pass. Because it's a 28-second burn. I think I've got enough fuel for that. I hope I do, otherwise we're going to be orbiting. And my grand plan of 3 burns to get down would be a fail. Matter of fact, we might be able to do better by not waiting that long, because we'll have more speed to get rid of then. So if I put it here instead, It's not really lowering that other one as much as I like because I'm not doing it at the low point. Okay, well, fortune favors the bold, right? So we'll do it the way I had originally thought. Want to get that low point down to where I'm dipping into the atmosphere and getting aero braking. That's too low. That'd be... Let's try there. Ah, no. That's probably good. Now, got time to mess with it. Maybe there. I feel a little indecisive about that. Alright, so now we should be pretty well aligned, or pretty close. And we can warp to our next maneuver. Let's see, how much fuel do I have? I do know a way I can look. I'm out of fuel? Is that a fact? No. It's not telling me. Well, there goes nothing, I guess. What if I... Okay, well at least that's a way I can know. Those tanks should all be pretty similar. That's gonna be close. Well, maybe not. Come on, baby. Now the big question is, what does that make our 82? That's not enough. Let's get a little more retro burn. Needs to be lower. That ought to do. Alright, so now, before we get too low, we're going to want to jettison the lander can. Goodbye. Farewell, you served well. And we're going to arm the chutes. Doing it manually because the staging got messed up somehow and I don't trust it. Alright, so now we can get rid of this maneuver. Now theoretically, when we hit the atmosphere or the higher levels of it, we'll get some drag, some slowness, and we'll start losing off our highest point of orbit too. And it might take a pass or three, but we should be looking pretty good. Also, we won't be doing several thousand, like 3,300 meters per second. We're already going slower. Gonna want to keep an eye on our altitude here. Stop the warp and zoom in so I can see it. Hate it when I change the focus. Alright, we need to get the ablator facing our direction of travel here so that the side that can take the friction is aligned right. Looks good. And we're just 70,000 meters is the upper limit of the atmosphere, so we're just gonna take a dip in here and see if we can't scrub off some speed. Pardon the microphone noise, sorry about that. I'll need to adjust on my ears. Actually, did our trajectory change after the... Yeah, a little bit, that's okay. Lost a couple thousand meters off the periapsis there, the low point of the orbit, because we slowed when we separated. And that, but that, I don't think that'll be a bad thing. I think that'll be okay. Starting to get a little close to some friction here. We should start seeing the ablator getting warm, lighten up pretty soon. Which reminds me I need to adjust. I think I'm starting to see it turn color just a little bit. Really not getting the kind of drag I thought I would at this altitude. It's starting to get a little toasty. That's good. That means there's friction. Not really losing the speed that I thought I would, though. As we're decelerating, the little bit that we are, this is dropping. This will be dropping too. So it looks like we'll do a few passes more than I had hoped, but we'll get there. And it will be kind of the safe way, so long as we don't wear out the ablator. Just about to pass our low point. Well, maybe. We're still falling. So we might... Nope. Now we're climbing. So we did a dip and we scrubbed off some speeds, not as much as I'd hoped. The good news is we don't have to soar out to 2 million miles above Kerbin, or 2 million meters above Kerbin, because of that one braking maneuver we did. Ablator seems to be holding up okay. Let's warp to here. It won't let me do the full warp this close, I guess, but that's okay. I want to keep an eye on this number. Looks like gravity's doing its trick. We're slowly getting pulled in. Definitely on a suborbital trajectory now. Get reoriented and pick up the warp again. We're definitely constantly decelerating now, so it's not a huge deceleration, but as we get again below 50k, we should scrub off more and more speed more rapidly. That's kind of pretty with the sunrise coming here soon. And over there I believe is the moon, so that's cool. The reason we were scrubbing speed was actually because we're getting further away from the planet and the gravity is slowing us. But that's cool too, we'll take that. Of course we'll give it back when we get close to the low point again. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do that, because that's going to be a wait if we don't. Don't want to warp too crazy, because don't want to be at warp speed below and not get the ablator lined up. Okay, so we're definitely decelerating again. Let's get lined up and hit it. Okay, well, we're still accelerating, but we're approaching the planet again, which is why we're accelerating, is what I mean to say. So hard to adjust under warp. Let's get that ablator fixed, or pointed in the right direction anyway. Most directly into our travel. We should be, once again, shrinking our distance. We don't have a periapsis now, so that's good. That means we'll definitely just be this one pass. This will slow us enough to touch down, I believe, because we don't have an orbit anymore. Unfortunately, it looks like it'll be the dark side, so it won't be much to see, but that's okay. That is alright by me. It's kind of funny, it's almost anticlimactic compared to one of my earlier videos when I didn't really know about approaching and aerobraking very well, and just trying to, you know, do the approach and the landing in one go and hitting the atmosphere at 3,300 meters per second and almost burning up. It was very tense. Having put an hour's worth of play into it. We're about an hour and 12 right now, which isn't too bad for getting the whole thing done. I think this is going to be my last Kerbal video for a while. It's just, it's kind of tough. It's not an easy game, and my work requirements and everything have been kind of crazy, and having the time to grind up the science and try, you know, I don't really do the tutorial thing with this a whole lot. I've done the game tutorials, but there's all kinds of, it's been out for a while on PC, and you can find all kinds of videos on YouTube about how to do everything, but that kind of, I don't know, it seems like defeating the purpose to me. So a lot of trial and error on my part, which is time consuming, and I just haven't had a ton of that time, that is. So with our successful moon mission here, I'm going to put a wrap on this series, where I might do some videos every now and then once I've unlocked something new to do, but I'm going to have to do some more trips to the moon and basically just do more science things there, check more different surface samples in different areas to build enough science points to build my next rocket to take me to the next planet or other moon. And nobody wants to watch that. But this is how you do it. This is, or at least one way you can do it. It's not necessarily the best way, because I'm going to drum it up, kind of my own here, but this is definitely going to be a successful launch, moon mission, landing, sample gathering, and recovery. Should be a nice chunk of science. Let's see how that blader's holding up. It's been fun doing these videos, and also it's been like the most viewed thing I've ever put on YouTube, with the help of my buddy Mike there at Next Level Gaming, the original Next Level Gaming. And so I really appreciate anyone who's taken the time to watch these or comment or had any questions. Feel free, of course, to hit me up on Twitter, CrazyJuan, same on Xbox Live. And my own YouTube channel, where I'm currently doing a playthrough of Massive Chalice, Double Fine, Games of Gold, tactical game from last year. Alright, so we're good. We're definitely just waiting for the chutes to pop. They'll pop around 1,000 meters up. It's not going to be as dark as I thought it would be. coming in, so that's good. Of course, that makes sense because the orbit would have changed as we decelerated. We hope. That'd be really funny, wouldn't it? If went through all that and then the chutes don't deploy. There we go. Forgot to take off the radials. Don't really need the orange ones. The yellow would suffice. But I left them on previous capsule design where I had a lab connected to this and didn't need it for the extra weight. But yeah, we're basically just going to time warp now and make our touchdown. 3-4 meters per second should be plenty safe. Alright, 2 safe landings. We'll go ahead and recover the vehicle, which effectively ends the flight. We got 5 science from the recovery of a vessel returned from the surface of the moon. We should also have some more science. If we recover, we can't recover that. Why did we not get the surface sample? Huh. Maybe I didn't do it right. I remember taking a surface sample. But that'll orbit forever, and we're just gonna blow it up so that it won't. Different flags. And one on the moon. More on the moon, but yeah. Yeah, there were a couple of moon missions that didn't come home because I hadn't figured out how to have enough fuel to get home yet, but yeah, I'm a little confused as to why I don't have the 120 science for the material gathering, the sample. But it's not like I can't replicate that. I just have to figure out what I did incorrectly with the... Let's take a look here. Yeah, see, that's where it was with the Northwest Crater. But for some reason, it didn't count. Well, I'll have to figure that out another one. But that's how you can... That's how you can build a rocket. Well, not build, because I didn't show the build part. But that's how you can take a rocket, fly it to the moon, land it, do some stuff, fly back, and land safely. So I hope everyone enjoyed watching this series of videos, this video, And feel free again to like and subscribe here at the Original Next Level Gaming YouTube channel for all kinds of content we got coming. We got so many creators now. It's just a flood of content. But again, thanks, and we'll see you around on Twitter and Xbox Live. Peace.